Zach is back. It's the Zach Gelb Show on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey.
All right, welcome back in. 5:16 is the time in the Princeton Orthopedic Associates Studios, 609-9199-D200. We have our Super Bowl 51 matchup. Atlanta blows out Green Bay yesterday by a final of 44-21, and the Patriots take down the Steelers in dominating fashion, 36-17 in Foxborough, Massachusetts at Gillette Stadium. So Super Bowl 51 in Houston will be the Patriots as they look for their fifth Lombardi trophy, and this is the seventh appearance in the Brady Belichick era, the ninth as a franchise, and then the Falcons will be looking for their first Lombardi trophy. Now joining us is someone that knows what it is like to win at this time of the year, as he's done it twice, a former New York Giant punter, and that is Sean Landeta, who's kind enough to join us right now on the Zach Gelb Show. Sean, appreciate the time as always, and how are you, my friend?
I'm very good, Zach. How are you?
Doing great, can't complain. Yesterday, I'll say this, though. I thought the games, I was very surprised that you had two blowouts. Were you surprised as well? Because I was convinced we were going to see two really good football games.
Yes, a little bit. I mean, I certainly didn't expect the games to be as amazing as the Sunday the week before when we had, the Packers, Chiefs, and Cowboys. Packers, Cowboys, Chiefs, Steelers. Those were two of the greatest playoff games we'll ever see. I thought they'd be a little closer, but I have to tell you, it really didn't surprise me. Most of those teams playing at home are doing that because they're the best teams in football. And Atlanta, especially, they scored over 500 points this year. I thought they'd score a lot, but thought the Packers would score more than they did. But nonetheless, two little bit of blowout-type games, but looking forward to the Super Bowl. I think that'll be a good one.
Sean, I do agree. As we're talking to Sean Landeta, I think the Super Bowl is going to be a great game. But it's unbelievable how we're 2 weeks away now from the Super Bowl. You have this long off week, and then everyone goes to Houston and get ready for the big game. It's unbelievable how, besides that one Sunday that you mentioned a week ago, that other than that, we haven't seen a good playoff game other than that Pittsburgh-Kansas City game and Green Bay-Dallas. It's really unbelievable, Sean.
Yeah, usually in the playoffs, the games are closer because they are the best teams, and a lot of these games are within 7 to 10 points anyway, and this is just one of those years. We'll see what happens in the Super Bowl. Hopefully we'll get a close game, but the way this postseason's gone, who knows?
This has been an Atlanta team, just like Carolina last year. No one before the year saw this thing coming. They were 8-8 from last year, and now they are 60 minutes away from winning a Super Bowl. How did so many people nationally miss this Atlanta team? Because, like you were mentioning, they're just rolling offensively right now.
They are. I think part of the reason is last year they were so inconsistent, and they got on a good run here. But I think again the fact that in the past Atlanta's gotten close in the playoffs and they just haven't seemed to get over the hump. Nobody was really ready to give them the credit to do that. But Matt Ryan has come through in these two playoff games and played magnificently with his teammates. And now that he's in the Super Bowl, I think people will look at him a little different.
You take a look at that Patriots defense. I don't want to say it's a great defense because they do have their flaws, but it is a good defense, and Belichick is getting the best out of them this time of the year. It always seems like he's able to do that. And you look at this Falcons offense, I'm fascinated to see the game plan Belichick draws up to try to stop this high-octane offense that Atlanta does have.
I agree with you, Zach. I mean, Atlanta, everyone knows the great passer and receivers they have, but they have two running backs that can both pound it, and sometimes they get forgotten. I mean, there's no question that the defense of New England the other day, able to stop Pittsburgh, granted, was without Le'Veon Bell because of injury, but I want to see if they're able to contain those two runners because those two guys set the pass up so well, and quite often they're a big reason why Atlanta wins, but no one talks about it.
You know how tough it is to win in this league, and you've won twice. Just to see what the Patriots have been able to do for now well over a decade with one head coach and one quarterback. As a big fan of the game, what is it like to watch the run that these two gentlemen are on?
It's really amazing, because as you said, it's so hard to win. Only one team can win this, and every year there's two or three that are outstanding, and everything has to go well. And even with that, you need a little bit of luck. So, when you see you see greatness happening and just people just being able to keep going and playing at a great level, you learn to appreciate it, especially when you've been there and realize how hard it is to do.
You've seen so many quarterbacks come and go. Is Brady the best quarterback ever?
It'd be hard to argue that. I mean, I know a lot of people may say Montana and Manning and Marino and Elway and Brett Favre, and every one of those were super. They really were. But after all that, I don't know how you cannot put him at the top, especially the fact that he's had to do it with so many different receivers and different linemen and different running backs and out in the cold weather. And he's not done. I mean, this guy, if he's healthy, he'll probably do this another 3, 4, 5 years. And be hard to say he's not the best, especially if he's able to get this next Super Bowl.
Sean, we know Bill Belichick is always a big fan of special teams, usually has a good special teams unit each and every year. When you were with the Giants, I know he was a full-time defensive coordinator when you played there, but he did still have that big special teams background with the Giants. What was your relationship like with Coach Belichick?
Well, Bill was a special teams coach. A lot of people forget before he became a coordinator on the defensive side of the ball. And, we interacted almost every day all the years I played for the Giants, even though he was our coordinator, because, he was a special teams guy for years. He followed it close, and he's always really understood because of that how important it is. So, through the years we kept in touch because of that. But, back then, I had a pretty good relationship with him because of that connection.
What were some of his philosophies on special teams that you still kind of see today, maybe when you see a Patriots team led by Bill Belichick?
Well, interesting. It's the same thing 30 years ago, 35 years ago that is being publicized now. Just the simplicity of do your job, understand your assignment, study your assignment, practice your assignment. You have 5-6 days here to get this thing done in place and, make sure you go in prepared. And it's very easy to say that, and most coaches, I think, say that. It's not just him, but he's just gotten an ability to get it through to his other assistants and the players in a way where they're able to get it done on the field more than anyone else. And
when you analyze these two teams in the Super Bowl right now, we always know a Super Bowl usually, a lot of times when the Patriots are in it, they're a close game, and they usually come down to special teams play. What do you see out of both these teams' special teams units?
Well, both their punters are very good. They both had excellent years. Both kickers also. I mean, Gostkowski for New England is tremendous, and Matt Bryan is just a true, proven, solid veteran. Both of those guys, I think, under pressure would come through. And, I think both sides are going to contribute. I mean, we all know the offense of both teams is what we're going to be watching. But on special teams, each team will make a play to help their team one way or another.
And in your Super Bowl runs, the importance of special teams. You had the wide right in the one Super Bowl that you won, and then you guys also won then pretty comfortably against the Broncos. Just after all these years, you always get a little probably nostalgic when the Super Bowl time of the year comes up. What do you remember about your two teams that won Super Bowls, and what just stands out to you after all these years?
It's really a good question. I mean, even though it's been a lot of years, you realize how lucky you were to take part in that game, and not only that, to win it. I tell people it's so hard to get to the game. Then once you get there, you got to win the game, and that's harder than getting there. You do look back and think back of what was great about it. And, sometimes you think you should have enjoyed it more because it came and went so fast. But I was so lucky to be on two terrific teams that were able to win, and we get together through the years and reminisce, and very fortunate to have been in that position.
You had a great coach in Bill Parcells. We all know his impact on the game. Bill, before a big game, what did he say to you guys leading up to the game?
Well, I think he handled everything pretty good. He was always very stern throughout, the course of the year, and, everyone knew that every little thing had to be done, and he was very demanding, but in a good way. He wanted y'all to understand that nothing's going to happen by accident. You need to absolutely practice and play well all the time. And, he got us ready and basically said, hey, you guys have put the work in. Get out there and play and go get yourself a victory.
Sean, before we let you run, as we're talking to the two-time Super Bowl champion, Sean Landeta, getting back to Super Bowl 51, we know a big topic of conversation from now until maybe seeing which way the game goes after the game is going to be about the commissioner and Tom Brady. Just what are your thoughts on this matchup if at the end of the day Goodell has to hand that trophy over to Tom Brady?
Well, I think they'll handle it fine. Both of them know that there's going to be a lot of commotion made about it, but if that ends up happening, I'm sure he'll hand the trophy. I don't know if he hands it to him or the head coach, but I'm sure if you're Brady, you might have a little satisfaction, and I don't expect him to make a big deal out of it because he's a true professional. So I know the fans and press will have fun with it, but I think if that comes to pass, I don't think we're going to see any fireworks there.
Sean, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Great, Zach. Have a good week, my friend. Thank you.
You too. There's the great Sean Landeta joining us on the Zach Gelb Show.